Hi there, welcome to the video. Today we're doing part 2 of the complete list of new releases from the past month. We are covering today brands lettered N through Z, and we're going to be talking about upcoming releases that have not yet actually been officially released. And then we're also going to be talking about later on in the video new releases that are currently out and available. And then I even have a perfume leak for you at the end of this video. So if you're excited for this type of content, please keep watching. Before we dive into today's video, if you have not yet watched part 1, definitely go back and watch part 1. We talked about dozens and dozens. I mean, maybe even like 100 fragrances. It was a very long list. Today is going to be long, not as long. So definitely grab a drink, maybe grab a notebook. You might want to jot down some of these fragrances. And anything that I talk about in these videos, I'm going to also be ordering to sample and then doing first impressions on camera. So if there's something that you're interested in learning more about, just stay tuned because I'll be talking about them in future videos. So the very first section that we're going to talk about today are the fragrances that have not yet been released. So these have been announced, not some of them not officially, but they've been talked about and are on their way to us. So we're going to start with the House of Nikolai. The House of Nikolai has 3 new releases coming up. The first one is called Macaroon Bourbon, and this one has top notes of bitter almond, Divana, and rum, middle notes of rose, cinnamon, and clove, and base notes of patchouli, tonka bean absolute, vanilla, and musk. This sounds really delicious. The next one is called Pavlova. And with this one, we've got top notes of pineapple, passion fruit, and rum, middle notes of peach, coconut, and raspberry, and base notes of cedarwood, sandalwood, vanilla, and musk. That sounds really good as well. And then the third release from the house is called Saint Honoré. And this one has top notes of bergamot and pepper, middle notes of hazelnut, orange flower, and milky accord, and base notes of vanilla absolute, sandalwood, dry amber, and musk. That one sounds really good as well. Next, we have something from the house of Otop, which I had never heard of this house before. This is called Air Oud, and this one has notes of fresh air accord, orange blossom, oud, rice bran, cypriol, saffron, frankincense, and patchouli. I feel like I'm either going to love this one or hate it. Next, we have 3 new releases from the House of Olfactive Studio. These have been definitely talked about, just not released yet. The first one is called Huggy Mauve, and with this one, we have top notes of mandarin, petitgrain, and pink pepper, middle notes of orange blossom, marshmallow, and saffron, and base notes of patchouli, balsamic notes, incense, myrrh, opopanax, oak moss, and white musk. Let me know in the comments, do you love the House of Olfactive Studio? I have quite a couple that I really like from them, so I'm very excited for these releases. The next one is called Loving Scents. This one has top notes of bergamot, pink pepper, cardamom, and ginger, middle notes of cumin, cinnamon, cedarwood, and cashmere, and base notes of incense, sandalwood, vanilla, and white musk. That one sounds really good as well. And then the third release is called Sister Oud. And this one has top notes of cardamom, blackcurrant, pink pepper, middle notes of oud assam, cinnamon, cumin, and rose de mai. And then base notes of sandalwood, labdanum, birch, smoky notes, oak moss, vanilla, and white musk. I'm not so sure about this one. I have a hard time with the note of birch, so we'll see. If it's super intense, I might not like it. Moving on, we have a new release by the house of One Day. 811 Taipei is what it's called. And listen to these notes. It sounds really intriguing. So we've got top notes of soy milk, rice, and taro, middle notes of Irish and Gaiac wood, and base notes of vetiver, sandalwood, and musk. This sounds really yummy to me. I love a rice note. It just smells so comforting. Like just the smell of rice cooking in the kitchen is just, it's so good. Like I did not grow up with rice constantly on the stovetop. Just my parents weren't super into rice. Like we never ate rice. We ate mashed potatoes if we were going to eat a starch. But now as an adult, I'm constantly making rice and it's just such a comforting feeling and a comforting smell. So I'm very excited about this one. Next up, we have an upcoming release by the house of Zero Molecule, and it's called Paradiso. No notes on this yet, but I have heard a couple of people say it's one to watch out for. Next up, we have 3 new upcoming releases by the house of Parfum Del Mar. The first one is called Delica. This one has top notes of peach, tonka bean, nuts, and caramel, middle notes of praline, vanilla, patchouli, and almond, and base notes of sandalwood, vetiver, cocoa, dark chocolate, rum, and musk. I feel like I'm turning a little bit into a peach fan. I love a nutty fragrance though, like nuts, praline, almond, caramel, like that sounds really good. And then throwing in a peach note on there, like, it just sounds really delicious. The next upcoming release by the house is called Kaya. And this one is taking a totally different direction. We have top notes of bergamot, apple, and raspberry, middle notes of jasmine, sambac, and white flowers, and base notes of patchouli, ambrox super, vanilla, tonka bean, rum, amber, and woody notes. So yeah, that sounds really good as well. And then the third and final upcoming release from the house is called Mahina. This one has a top note of lemon. It's got tangerine and blood orange on the top as well. Middle notes of peony and jasmine sambac, and base notes of gentle wood and musk. And I'm just a sucker for tangerine and peony. So yeah, excited for this one. Next up, we have a new release by the House of Parfum de Marly, and this is called Delina Climbing Rose. Now, from what I can tell, this isn't a new fragrance. It's a limited edition bottle. From what I can tell, I could be wrong about that, but I looked it up. I did some research, and it appears that this is the Delina fragrance in a new bottle. I'll put the bottle here. So let me read you the little press release blurb. Delina Climbing Rose is a revamped edition of our beloved Delina. The new collector's edition fragrance is a tribute to the floral embellishments of Louis the 15th period. Louis the 15th? I think it's the 15th, XV, elegantly invading the bottle. The new fragrance, which is confusing when they say the new fragrance, is more than just a fragrance. It's a piece of art that is a home to the alluring, irresistible blend of Delina Eau de Parfum that transports the wearer in time and place to bygone eras. A delightful sensorial journey that captivates the senses. So I think it's just a limited edition bottle. The notes are the same, the perfumer is the same. Anyway, this is launching April 15th, so keep your eyes peeled for that. Next up, we have a new release by a house that I am very excited to dive into. I want to get one of their discovery kits and do like a full house review. They're called Philly and Phil, and the fragrance is called Naughty by Nature, which, do we have any 90s kids in here? Like Naughty by Nature? I don't know. It just brought back memories, just that name. So this is a fragrance done by Chris Maurice, who, if you don't know Chris Maurice, he's a genius. And we've got notes of strawberry, blackberry, and pink pepper with this fragrance, and it's going to be available in mid-April. So definitely excited for this one. Next up, we have two upcoming releases by the House of Reinvented. The first one is called Ethereal Soul. This one has top notes of blackcurrant, raspberry, and freesia, middle notes of iris and jasmine, and base notes of amber, moss, and musk. And the other one is called Ode to Psyche. And this one has top notes of geranium, juniper, pink pepper, middle notes of cashmere wood, patchouli, and cedar wood, and base notes of amber, vetiver, and white musk. Next up, we have an upcoming release for the house, The Different Company, and this is called Red Burning Night. With this one, we have top notes of pink pepper, bergamot, and ylang ylang, middle notes of jasmine, sambac absolute, cedarwood, lactonic accord, and evening jasmine accord, and then base notes of akigala wood, Georgie wood, not sure what that is, tonka bean, and musk. I've liked the things that I've smelled from this brand. I know it's a lesser known house, and yeah, I'm definitely excited to get my nose on that. The next one we have is a new upcoming release by the House of Thomas de Monaco. This is called Ultimo Storio. I'm very excited about these notes, you guys. It sounds really interesting. So we have notes of citron noir, almond, roasted coffee. We have pear, orris absolute, clearwood, which it's funny. I've seen that in another notes breakdown, and I thought it was a typo. I thought it was supposed to be cedarwood, but I'm guessing clearwood is like an actual thing. Saffiano leather, talcum powder, and linen. This just sounds really interesting. So I'm excited for that. Next up, we have 4 new releases from the House of Victoria's Secret. If you've seen my recent haul video, then you know I'm a little bit on the fence about Victoria's Secret circa 2024. So if you want to hear my thoughts on that, go back and watch that video. I posted it 2 videos ago. But we'll see. I'm willing to give these a shot, especially because it looks like they're pretty 2 of them are pretty tropical, and I love tropical fragrances. So this is a bombshell collection. It is location specific. So we've got 4. We've got Bogota, Lagos, London, and Tokyo. funny story, I'm actually going to London and Tokyo this spring/summer, not at the same time, separate trips. So I'm excited to like try these. And if I like them, maybe I can bring them to the corresponding cities. The first one, Bogota, has notes of coffee blossom, gardenia, and peony, which sounds really good. The Lagos one has notes of hibiscus, tamarind, and peony. London has notes of cassis, English rose, and peony, which I just feel like is so fitting for London. And then Tokyo has notes of cherry blossom, lychee, and peony. Historically, I'm not super into cherry blossom, but that could change with, a good blending of notes. We'll see. And the last one is a new Zadig and Voltaire flanker. This is called This Is Her Unchained. On the top of this one, we have mandarin, cherry accord, and pink pepper. In the middle, we have violet, neroli, and chestnut. And in the base, we have sandalwood, benzoin, musk, and lipstick accord. I'm not like super pumped on this one. I'm kind of over cherry, to be honest. But anything with a chestnut note, I definitely want to get my nose on it. It's one of my favorite notes. And I love the original Zadig and Voltaire. This Is Her. So yeah, we'll see. We'll see how I feel about this one. Okay, now we're moving into our final segment of this video. These are new fragrances that are released, that are on the market. You can find them in stores. You can order samples online. You can blind buy them online if you want to, but I don't recommend it. But yeah, these are out and about and you can definitely find them. So we're going to start off with the House of Noemi, and this is Kalahari Extreme. I have yet to smell the original Kalahari, but I did notice the notes on this look really intriguing. So we've got top notes of pear and orange, middle notes of cedarwood and cardamom, and base notes of incense and labdanum. So I'm very excited for that. Next up, this is one that I'm really, really excited about. I've heard multiple people talk about this, and it sounds really good, and the notes sound amazing. So this is a new fragrance by Parfum d'Empire, and it's called Une Belle Amour d'été, which I think means the great love of summer, or the best love of summer, something beautiful love of summer, something like that. And this is said to smell. I've heard two people say this. Joanna Mercado said something similar to this, and then another blogger that I can't remember their name said something similar, where they both said that this smells like falling in love or something like that, which of course captured my attention, because I don't know about you guys. For me, I don't wear fragrances just to smell nice. I wear fragrances because I like to evoke certain experiences, emotions, feelings, memories. Like, I love using fragrance to kind of transport into different places and to sort of change your state and things like that. And I'd love to do actually more videos about that. Let me know in the comments if you would love more videos about that in particular. But I'm just very much looking forward to trying this fragrance. So this has notes of white florals, gardenia, magnolia, champaca, cumin, turmeric, sandalwood, and vanilla. It sounds really, really good. All right, next we have a new release by the House of Pierre Guillaume, and this is called Le Musc and Le Peau. And this one has notes of ylang ylang, sandalwood, rosemary, cedar, amber, musk, and milk. Excited to try that one. Next, we have a new release by the House of Regime de Fleur, and it's called Green Vanille. This one has notes of hazelnut, almond milk, blue chamomile, vanilla, coriander, benzoin, vetiver, cedar, and sandalwood. I'm very interested in how the blue chamomile is gonna go with like the nuttiness of this fragrance. I'm very intrigued by this. I have smelled a couple from this line, and I don't remember being super excited about them, but who knows? We'll see. Next up, we have a new release from the House of Reine de Saba. This is called Secret de Musc, and this one has top notes of lemon, ambrette, and pink pepper, middle notes of lavender, nutmeg, and patchouli, and base notes of styrax, vetiver, ambroxan, and musk. Next up, we have a new release from the House of Roja. This is called Isola Sol, and I've heard that this is a really good fragrance. However, the price tag on this is crazy, you guys. I mean, with most Rojas, right? This is $485 US for a 50 ml bottle of this, which I'm just like, why? Hopefully it has great longevity. If I absolutely loved a fragrance and it had great longevity, like if it was like a ride or die fragrance, like I have to have this, I would spend $485 on a 50 ml if the longevity was there. And yeah, I would just wear it on special occasions, you know? But anyways, let's talk about the notes. So we've got top notes of lemon, bergamot, mandarin, petitgrain, apricot, and peach, heart notes of neroli, jasmine, sambac, ylang ylang, and coconut, and base notes of pink pepper, cedarwood, sandalwood, amorous wood, salty accord, musks, and ambroxan. Regardless of the price, I am definitely going to sample this. All right, next up, we have a new release from the house of Room 1015, and you've probably heard about this already because people have been raving about it on YouTube. It's called Wave Child. So these notes are really interesting. We have top notes of orange, mandarin, and lemon, heart notes of watermelon and coconut, and base notes of amber woods, cocoa, and ambergris. And I sometimes I'm a little like off put by melon fragrances. Usually like cantaloupe honeydew, I can't do at all. Watermelon, I'm more open to because it's just kind of has this like more sweeter, kind of more crisp feel to it. There's something about cantaloupe and honeydew melon that I can't handle it. Like I can't smell it, I can't taste it. It's disgusting. I can't do it. I've always been like that. Cantaloupe I can eat kind of, but I'm not like super into it. Honeydew is like a flat out no. So yeah, I'm a little hesitant on this one, but I definitely am going to sample it. And like I said, because it's watermelon, I'm sure it'll be fine. But people are raving about this so far. Next up, we have a new release from the house of Rosendo Mateo, and it's called Number 8. This one has top notes of apple, pineapple, citrus notes, and pear, middle notes of cinnamon, amber, iris, Bulgarian rose, and patchouli, and base notes of vanilla, cedarwood, guyakwood, and vetiver. Sounds really good. Next up, we have this one I'm really excited about. New release from the house of Sarah Baker. Generally, I haven't done that well with Sarah Baker perfumes, although I know she has a cult following. I know some people really jive with her fragrances. For me, it's a stylistic thing. I do appreciate the artistry of her fragrances, but for me, they're just not things that I would wear. However, this new one I think might be different for me. It's called Peach's Revenge. And once I tell you the notes, I think you'll understand why. This is another Chris Maurice fragrance, and the notes in here are peach, guava, nectarine, amaretto, orris, cardamom, ginger, cinnamon, amber, vanilla, caramel, and musk. Sounds really good. I saw they have some samples on Lucky Scent, so I'm definitely going to give this a go. I think this summer I'm going to be more into peach fragrances than I have been previously, so I'm very excited for that. Next up, we have a new one from the house of Scents of Wood. It's called Mycelium in Chestnut. And this one has notes of damascone, chestnut, cool wood, cedar wood, cashmere, evernoll, tonka bean absolute, and vanilla. And of course, I have to try this because, like I said earlier, chestnut is one of my absolute favorite notes. Next up, we have a new fragrance by the house of Sniff. This is a collaboration with Alex L. And this is called Heal the Way. And this has pistachio cream, Divana, Palo Santo, and vanilla. This sounds so good, you guys. This sounds like something that I just absolutely need to get my nose on ASAP. So I'll read the press release from Sniff. It says, this comforting, soft blend of pistachio cream, vanilla, Divana, and Palo Santo will soothe your soul. We partnered with author and mindfulness teacher Alex L. to create a warm, comforting fragrance that serves as a gentle reminder to honor your authentic self. Definitely excited to try this one. As I mentioned, I think it was this video or previous video, I'm having a moment with pistachio, and of course I want to try that. Next up, we have a new fragrance from the house of Tamine. This is called Chords. On this one, we have a top note of bergamot, neroli, and orange blossom. We've got middle notes of blonde tobacco, honey, and ylang ylang, and base notes of cedarwood, cypriol, and wood leather. For some reason in my head, when I first read the notes breakdown to this, it reminded me of, and I haven't seen the notes to this perfume in so long, so it might not even be the same notes, but immediately my head went to Bois Blanc by Atelier, which was one of my big loves in fragrance back in like 2014, I think it was. 2012 is when I got that fragrance. And I just wore that religiously. I had a giant like 200 ml bottle. And yeah, we haven't been able to like get a hold of Atelier over here in the States lately. That might be something I want to pick up actually while I'm over in the UK. But yeah, I don't know if this fragrance is going to sound like that. It just reminded me of it for some reason. I think because of the, I think there's orange blossom in that fragrance. I can't even remember the notes. I know there's pink pepper. I remember for sure there's a lot of pink pepper at the top. And there's definitely some like blonde woods. But yeah, anyways, excited to try this out. Okay, next up we have a new release from the House of Oud. It's called Guilty Crush. This one has top notes of champagne, black cherry, and strawberry, middle notes of jasmine, rose, and lipstick, and base notes of benzoin, cedarwood, vanilla, and musk. And I'm excited about that juicy somewhat fizzy opening that it sounds like it might have. Yeah, it sounds really delicious. Next on the list, we have a new release from Theodoros Keratines. And it looks like it's a collaboration with Universe, and it's called Cotton Candy. I can't figure out if this is called Cotton Candy times Universe or if it's a collaboration with a brand called Universe. But anyways, it's a cotton candy fragrance. It's also got caramel, vanilla, and musk. I am a sucker for cotton candy fragrances. It's one of my absolute favorite fragrances. I talked about why in a video like 2 years ago. It's like at the very beginning of my channel. I think it was the video, How I Got Addicted to Fragrances. I'll link it down in the description. I'll find it and link it. But I talk about the note of cotton candy and like why it's so special to me. And yeah, it's really interesting. So I'm definitely excited to get my nose on this. Next up, we have 3 new releases from Victoria's Secret. These are body mists. The first is called Island Lush. The second is called Seaside Surf. And the third is called Vibrant Breeze. Again, going back to my Victoria's Secret haul video that I did the other day, I did smell these in store. I couldn't really smell them. I couldn't really get a full grasp of what these body mists were all about, but I'll go through and tell you the notes. I need to go back and smell. I think what I'm going to do, I don't know what it is. Like for some reason, I can't smell anything in Victoria's Secret. So I think I'm going to like bring a pen and like write on the little tester strips what it is, spray it, and then like go out to my car and smell it in my car. But the first one is called Island Lush, and it's got notes of coconut cream, gardenia, and earthy woods. The next is called Seaside Surf, and this one has notes of yuzu, sea salt flower, and hibiscus. And then the third is called Vibrant Breeze, and this has salty sand, coconut shell, and sandalwood. So they sound really good. I really wanted to love them, but again, I like literally couldn't smell anything. It was so bizarre. And then I went next door. Bath and Body Works is literally next door. There might be one store in between. And I could smell everything in Bath and Body Works just fine. So it's really interesting. Just side note, I'm like, if people can't smell the fragrances in Victoria's Secret, like how are they supposed to buy them? You know, like they might want to think about that. Like how, I don't know how they would change. Maybe they need like an air filter in there. I don't know. But anyways, just something I was thinking about. The very last fragrance that is on our new releases list is by Zara, and it's called Bogos Vibrant Leather Summer. And this is another watermelon fragrance. This one has watermelon, pineapple, violet, and amber. Sounds really good. I think it's supposed to be a men's fragrance, but yeah, we'll see. All right, and then the very last thing that I have to share with you is just one. I just have one perfume leak, and it's something that isn't like a quote unquote leak because I heard the perfumer talk about it on a podcast. It's the House of Scents of Wood again, and they will be releasing sometime in the future, in the near future, 2 new fragrances in collaboration, I believe, with Scentbird. So the first one is going to be called Strength in Santal, and the second one is going to be called Calm in Cedar. And it again goes back to that conversation where we're talking about like changing states with aroma and with fragrance and like intentionally doing that, you know, like reaching for things because you want to create a certain feeling or you want to create a certain experience or certain emotion or something like that. So yeah, I'm really excited to dive into these and give those a sniff when they're available. All right, guys, that concludes our video for today. Thank you so much for joining. Moving forward, I will be doing a weekly new releases video. I'm very much ear to the ground on what's coming up, what's new, what's launching. I do all the research, I dig around, and I love talking about new releases and I love smelling new releases. And it just, yeah, I'm like addicted to like the holy grail search of like what's next, you know? And I know that a lot of you guys love hearing about new releases as well. So I will be talking about those in a weekly video that will be going out on Mondays at 4 p.m. Central Standard Time from here on out. And then I'll also be doing a first impressions video every Wednesday at 4 p.m. Central Standard Time. And then on Saturdays, I'll either be doing like a themed video or I'll be doing a discovery kit of a new house and probably throwing in a giveaway or 2 in those videos as well. So I have lots of exciting content coming up for you guys. If you're brand new here and you'd love to subscribe, go ahead, subscribe, leave a comment, make sure you turn on your notification bell. Thank you so much for being here, you guys. I'll see you in the next one. Bye.